Alright, I guess I gotta push the button here. Da 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 da. I don't know if they're open or not here. Oh, that's me I'm waving to. I'm looking over there. I thought somebody was looking at me. It was me. I don't know. Come on, let's go. Let's go here. Oh man, I might push the button. I'll push again. Hi, how you doing? Come on. Come on. These people are sitting here talking over by the door. We're just gonna... Come on. Is there anybody here? Come on. You know, I'm not standing here for my health. Here we go. This ought to be good.
Can I help you?
Yes. I sent an email 2 weeks ago.
About?
Steve.
Okay,
go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I sent an email 2 weeks ago. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I figured I'd come up. I sent an email. First off, a month ago, I met your reporter at Country Fair, Dave.
Belmondo?
Yeah, I can never remember his last name. And I said, I have something I want your channel to see. Do you have a card with you? And he said, no, but just email it. I went to your website. It has to do with SStephens, the Facebook thing. So I sent the email with 2 videos that I did 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get a reply. I said Channel 24 staff, as I didn't direct it to anybody.
Right,
I sent a follow-up last Wednesday. I just want somebody to look at the 2 videos I did. I'm doing my own documentary. There's a lot of questions that the media did very little on it. And I have the Cleveland side, and then I do a bike ride on the route, and it's more for general information. You've got 3 different endings to the state police. You have a Cleveland side, which is impossible to happen. I have it verified through LECOM students that this guy cannot bleed the length of his body in 1.5 seconds time. We see the line that they use, it's like a paintbrush.
What's the story though?
The story is that this is a DHS FEMA exercise, and I want you to look at my work just on those 2 videos alone, well, just on the Cleveland side, that it wasn't investigated. I talked to a reporter of yours 2 summers ago. She was doing at the Country Fair. Powerball was real high. 25 years old, real nice reporter. She wanted me to go on camera if I was going to buy a Powerball. I said, no, but I got a couple questions for you. And I mentioned SStephens. I said, you guys didn't investigate this. You did nothing to do it. You know, you just took the information that was given. And she goes, we can only report what the officials tell us. And I said, think about what you just said. You didn't investigate it. You just reported it. And what I want somebody here to do is go through my work. I have other videos to it. And you're going to see what wasn't looked at. And I just want...
Did you say you sent the
Email,
videos already to Dave?
Yeah, well, not to Dave in particular. I just put staff.
Okay.
And my name is Rob K. And I just want a reply. The Erie Times,
Well, I'll see Dave tomorrow.
and it's not necessarily him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I'll bring it to his attention. I'll bring it to my
I
boss's
appreciate
attention.
it. And
Now, you definitely sent it to Action News 24,
Yeah. I've got the-
WJT-TV.
yeah.
And when did you send it?
2 weeks ago, Wednesday,
All right.
and then a follow-up with the same email, right behind
What's
it.
your phone number, Rob? How do I get a hold of you? Just to, because I don't know if it's still in the system in our emails or if it got deleted. How do I get a hold of you?
814
814
580
580
7149.
7149.
Yeah. And I would just like...
I can look and see if the
Oh.
video's still there. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, in this day and age, and especially in this size market, you're gonna get that response
I know.
of we go to the officials.
Right.
Because we don't have the time and
I
resources.
realize
to do-
economics of the news business at
Right.
your level.
Right.
I grew up in Cleveland, so I've seen Channel 8 and 5.
Now,
I know
Cleveland
it,
has certainly more resources
yeah.
to do that.
Right, right. And they
so,
didn't do it
So
either.
you might get that because, to be honest, I've heard us at times say like, you know, if you want the more in-depth story, read the paper, and a paper has more time to do the digging and do a lot bigger feature.
You know
article.
that they didn't, the Erie Times, okay, they're the ones that, I tried to contact them and they don't reply, they're not allowed to. The story changes from the original story to the first year anniversary story.
Oh,
You
what's
know-
the guy's name that this is about again?
Stevens,
Steve's and what? is it-
Facebook killer. It started in Cleveland, then he came to McDonald's.
Right.
I even interviewed the McDonald's owner.
Uh-huh.
He looked
I
at
remember the story now. It's only what 2-3 years ago.
2 years ago,
2 years ago.
February or April 18th in Erie.
So what is it about the story that's bugging the hell out of you? Have a
It's
seat.
totally staged. It's totally
What
staged.
part is staged?
What I mean is, you couldn't have the Cleveland side happen. With the shooting, he doesn't even shoot at him. If you've seen the video, he shoots and he twirls around in 1.75 seconds time. And the guy's already on the ground. He's already got blood all the way down the length of his body. And there's a black line that they use to paint this blood on. They pass it off as real, and it's not. First they said it was live. It wasn't live. Facebook came on and said it's not live. Then he drives here to Erie. They don't know where he's at. You know, the most wanted car in America. The lady at McDonald's that called 911, they saw the car. She's married to a state trooper that's involved in the chase. They just happened to have a state trooper across the street eating lunch. And there's a lot more to it. It's hard for me to explain because I'd rather go through it and I have it all set up. And, you know, Erie Times, they just refuse to deal with it. I know one of the editor's fathers, and he said, you know, their Houston corporate won't allow them to, because they're afraid that I'll take it and throw it online and, you know, make it. I don't do that. That's not the way I do it. Some people do that, but that's not the right way to do it. But I have it set up so that it's all, my research is backed up with articles and video and pictures.
Refresh my memory though. Someone was killed in that, right?
That's the thing. You have 3 different endings to the story
Right.
from the state police. Now, which one is right? And I went and checked 15 different sources. You got the Erie, you got overseas, you got other. This is a worldwide story. And you had the police saw him spin and kill himself. You had the police, he came to a stop and killed himself. And you had the police get out of the car and walk up and he killed himself. They messed up on what window was shattered. They messed that up. They had an exercise right at that school. There always is an exercise involved with these to get everything planned, and that was in the Erie Times. And they used their main witness, Shatia Baez, said she saw SStephens in McDonald's. He wasn't in McDonald's. She's there in McDonald's, and they dropped her story because she messed up. So I did background on her. She was in Erie's Most Wanted 6 months before. She had a long history of financial and legal issues from the state of PA. I looked on their site, and they used people like that. Probably made a plea deal. They had 3 people come under the yellow tape to get interviewed, and 2 of them had arrest records. One guy goes, I know Stevens, I happen to live near him. The odds of that are impossible. Some guy just sitting there going, I know Stevens. This is stuff I'd like to talk about and show you.
Stevens was the one who
Yeah,
wound up
yeah.
in Erie.
Right.
Who got shot. Who was the victim in
Robert Godwin, Sr. And here's Robert Godwin. He lived in a dump house in Glenville. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so I know exactly where this took place. This guy lived in a dump. They tore down his house, and he winds up in this really nice retirement center in Euclid. And on the day of he gets shot, it's Easter, and he's going around for cans in one of the worst areas in the country. Who would let their father walk around, get cans? How does he get there 5 miles from where he lived in Euclid? He visits his son beforehand on the other side of Route 2.
5 miles isn't that far to walk.
On Easter, though. On Easter, it is. For an 75-year-old guy,
Was he Did he have dementia?
No, he had 14 kids, or what, 10 kids, 14 grandchildren. He went to visit his girlfriend that he got pregnant when she was in her late teens, early 20s, and he's in his 60s, and you don't let your father go collect cans with a bag in the middle of, there's no cans there to collect. It's not an area where there's no retail.
Yeah, but did the kids know that he had gone collecting cans?
Oh, of course, yeah, they put that into the store. Oh, he loved it. But on Easter, you don't, in the area, I could see if he went to a retail area or something like that where people throw cans out. There's nothing there. It's just a deadbeat neighborhood. I would be afraid to ride my bike through right now. There's a lot more to it.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Sure.
What would be the purpose of staging it?
They wanted to crack down on past staged events. People were investigating them, like the Pulse, Sandy Hook, Boston, all staged Homeland Security FEMA events. And they wanted to stop that on YouTube. So when this happened, they got more strict in what you could live stream.
Okay.
Part of it's paranoia too. They want people to be, oh my God, I can't believe this has happened. All people got to do is look at the story, and you can just see how ridiculous the storyline is.
So in a way, but you are kind of then alleging that Department of Homeland Security is involved with this.
Right. I have the digital exercise paperwork on Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook closed 4 years before it happened. I got a friend that I work with. He actually ate lunch in the parking lot in 2010-11 time period. He lived in that area delivering parts for his business because the school was closed. Yet they're passing it off that the school was open. It wasn't. And that's like the start of all this, Boston bombing. You see the lady sitting there throwing the trigger for this practice bomb, and that's where the old guy wobbles and catches it. You just slow it down and see it, and then you see everybody rush up. The guy that had in the wheelchair, they're holding his veins. He was already a double amputee from the Army, This is how deep we get into our research. But when you try to tell the media, just look at the evidence, we send it, they won't do it because they can't. They're not allowed to. I'll be honest, if you took what I had there and had your newscaster go, we have this here, that there's a possibility, you would get a call. Say, you don't go with that. Do not go with that. And it's happened. People try to be honest. But anyways, hi.
Well,
I just want somebody to look at it. That's all, and just give their opinion. That's all. Just on what I sent, not necessarily the bike ride, but yeah, there's some stuff in there.
Well, I got someone in mind here. One of our producers that I'll have take a look at it. I'll look tomorrow and see if we still have it. It would have come to us under probably your whatever your email sent.
Right.
And that is what? Rob K?
YRRETKIP@gmail.com. YRRETKIP@gmail.com. It'll be one email, but it'll have a follow-up to it.
Okay.
Gmail. Yeah, I use Gmail.
All right. Let me dig through and see if we still have it.
I can send it again here in a
and
couple minutes.
I have your phone number.
Okay, I'll send it in a couple minutes here. I'm going to go back towards Country Fair there, and I'll send it again. There's no problem.
Are you in Erie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just doing this because there's a lot of people, good people that know what's going on at all different types of professions, and some professions can't talk about it because they know they're going to get fired. Some college professors know what's going on. They can't say anything because they know they'll get fired, suspended, blah, blah, blah. People, realize their jobs are at stake.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but...
Well, I'm guessing you probably have seen the YouTube video Zeitgeist. I'm assuming that you've seen the YouTube video.
Is that 9/11?
Yes.
A lot of that stuff doesn't get to the... I've done very much on 9/11, and a lot of that is... They'll tell a lot of truth, but they take you around. They're taking you away from what really happened.
Well, I don't think in that particular, they take you away from it.
Well, it's a generic kind of look at it. We get more into depth. We get more really into depth. Like they used all the CNN Memorial. If you go on CNN Memorial for 9/11, you'll see candles lit where there should be people. Well, the place I deal with, they discovered that in these pictures that they use EXIF data. Are you familiar with that? That's how photographers get paid. It's embedded in the photo. It has what type of camera, a lot of data. Well, they went in and put the obituaries in before 9/11. So when this was made known, they took down all these pictures. That's why you see the candles. I mean, there's a hell of a lot. Now think you lost somebody. Well, why is my son or daughter or husband a candle? Where's the picture at? And a lot of the pictures are very old looking or nothing that you would expect somebody to, that died, get a real nice picture, here, put this in there. And that's how deep we go. I mean, it's it's incredible story. And physics comes involved. You can't fly a plane this far off the ground at 400 miles an hour and make a 15-foot hole and have the plane fit into the Pentagon.
Well, right,
you can't have that.
Well, they
That's
talk about
impossible.
that and see
Right.
how, well, first of all, there's no trace evidence of a plane.
Right.
They
One
talk
little
about-
piece you got.
Well, they talk about
Yeah.
the heat it would have to burn in order to evaporate, and it's not.
Oh, you can't get that much heat.
Well, the
And-
reason I brought that up is I don't know who put that particular video together, but it sounds like someone you want to get in contact
No,
with.
I already know about it.
Okay.
I've seen.
No, for your stuff, for your story.
Oh no, I won't. Most of these people, I don't trust. I don't deal with them. Only a few, because
Okay,
as
well-
we've noticed, even people that are doctorates try to put this stuff together, then they miss out. They say, "Oh, nukes did it." Nukes didn't do it. This is a simple demolition. How the towers came down. It was already prepped. We know that people was barely occupied. We know that they used phone banks on a lot of the floors. You couldn't even go to all the floors. You had to have a special key to go to each floor. And it's just so much to it. I mean, it would take,
But if you want to get the story out, you're going to have to trust somebody.
yeah. Well, we do, where I'm at, that's kind of what we do. It's called Let's Roll Forum, which isn't built on 9/11. That's where I do a lot of my work. And,
Let's roll forum.
yeah,
Okay.
just to, it's a,
Is that a
it's a
.com?
research, yeah, it's a research forum.
Okay.
And it's split up into different sections.
The only
But no,
promise I can make you, Rob, is that
Okay.
I'll mention it to Dave. I'll look for your email. If
Yeah.
we don't still have it, I'll ask you to resend it.
Sure.
And I also am going to bring this to attention to one of the producers who
I appreciate it.
follows this kind of stuff really closely. But I can almost guarantee you.
I don't think there'll be questions. Yeah.
No.
Or-
Well, I just know that I'm probably going to hear from my superiors
Right.
saying like we can't go into that kind of depth on a story like that.
But it's not, I don't want the news to put it on the air. No, this is just me explaining, going through it, in as much detail as I have. And that's all.
Right.
It's more like,
But if we were going to pursue it, it would be under the assumption that we would probably want to do a
to look,
story.
yeah, to look at it. Let's do a right to know. How come nobody's done a right to know to get the squad cars that were in the chase?
Well, you can do that, can't you, as an individual?
I'd rather have somebody like the Times or a station because you got more credibility.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That type of deal. You have the drive-through. Oh, that thing about Shatia Buys where she said she was there and saw him in there.
Mhm.
Well, I've talked to the McDonald's owners. I know these people. So I talked to the supervisor, Brian. He does all the stores. I said, Brian, check your video. They had an extra copy. They gave one to the state police. They still had theirs before it got taped over or whatever happened. I said, check 15 minutes before he comes and check 15 minutes after he did. She was not there. So she's lying from her storyline, and she messed up. And they had her dressed real nice. She was by Burton's school, and she turns around. I seen him up there. Why didn't you say Harbor Creek? Why didn't you say in the drive-thru, not in the restaurant? And that's where they messed up. That's why they dropped her story right after that. Inside Edition and others picked it up. And I went to her Facebook page. I said, Shatia, explain, your story here. It's not jiving. And she didn't get back to me, so I posted it. I sent her a message, but then I posted it. And I posted her picture in Erie's Most Wanted for forgery, felony forgery and theft. And I went back 5 minutes to make sure it was there. She took down her page. She's got her page back up, but under a different name. I know what it is, but I haven't bothered her. I don't like doing that. I'd rather meet with her. I always tell people, if I had $100,000, I'd offer her half of that, because God knows what she got. Oh, the reward.
Yeah,
I was
going to ask you about
this FBI reward. We can't tell anybody. That's a lie, because in December of 17, in Florida, a McDonald's assistant manager was awarded $110,000 because she had a tip on a serial killer down in Florida. And $50,000 of it was the FBI. So why can't they, what's the FBI's difference? Are they different in Florida?
So we never did find out how much the reward
No one
was.
knows. Tom Ducharme doesn't. I even talked to Steve Franklin, the
And
former.
if I remember, we could never find out if it was ever given to. Wasn't there a person at the drive-up window?
Yeah, that's the person that was married to the policeman that's involved in the chase. I asked for her name. Nobody will give me her name. I mean, I've asked everybody at McDonald's. I had to find out through a customer talking to the management, who's a long-time customer. He's the one that told me that he's a respectable person in this area. He's known. I talked to Steve Franklin, the former Erie police chief. He always goes to country fair there.
Mm-hmm.
He made a couple calls about the reward. He couldn't get anything. And that's all he helped, but he goes, there's some red flags there. I'll see what I can do. He knows my work on the Pulse and a couple other things. He's very respectful. He's a nice guy. But I don't bug him about it. I very rarely say anything.
Wait, but you say you don't know the girl's name?
No, nobody will say it. Nobody will say it.
How do you know she was married to...
This friend of mine was talking to their management, and that's what they said. That and other people that I've asked afterwards that work for McDonald's go, yeah, she was married to a.
No one knew her name.
No,
but
they won't say it. They won't say it. I think they've been told just to not say it. It can only be one of really 5 names. I see 5 people involved in the chase. Like I say, that story changed after a year. Instead of 1 policeman chasing, now you got 2. You think they would get it right the first time. And there's more to it. I just,
Stevens was spotted at the drive-thru, right?
Yeah, he came in. Even some of the witness stories. We saw the police go in there and chase him. Well, the police didn't go in. That was never, you get some of these stories in the paper, they just throw it in there. They said Stevens was shaved, clean shaven.
He wasn't.
No, he was. That's what they said. But if I want to see the video, though, just to make sure that it was actually Steve Stevens. Here's something. Maybe for however long you've been working on the paper, or I'm sorry, the TV station, they pretty much declared Stevens dead at 11:35 a.m. And in the Erie Times it says they didn't take his body until late in the afternoon. Why would you leave him in the car for that long? He's going to start to, get stiff. He could be an organ donor too. They can take an organ or whatever. Take him to the morgue. I guess they were waiting on the Cleveland police to come, but still, late afternoon, 11:30 a.m. Who knows? 5 p.m. That's a long time. I've never heard of that before. Just take him to the morgue and let the police go down there, and they can do the autopsy. That's what happened. Then the yellow raincoat. Remember that? That was over Stevens' car. Well, obviously they put that there because the helicopter was coming in from Cleveland, Channel 5 News. They don't want people zooming in. That's why you see no clear shots of Stevens in the car. Everything's from a distance. I know.
Did you ever get any of the names of the officers involved in the chase?
They're in the paper. Yeah, I got Officer Van Horn, Davis. The three others,
So you weren't able to use their names to trace back to find the girl's name?
well, I did background check, like through white pages. So I have some female names.
Well, I'm just thinking about marriage certificates.
I don't have that private type. This is just public domain.
Well, a marriage license is public domain.
It,
With the parents, correct?
Yeah, I could do that. Sometimes I think Gary charges $10 to do it. For some stuff they do like that.
Well,
but
yeah, but if it's
I-
worth finding her name.
I try to use public domain because if you use private, there's a chance you could
Well,
get.
then you should be able. If
You might get sued if you or
well,
lose the.
could you depending on the officers' names that you have,
Mhm.
and if you could figure out, try to trace back or get their name, Google
I did.
married,
I've done that.
and you can't find out then what town that
Well-
they were married, and then go to the paper.
Oh, that's sometimes
Go to the because marriages are
some
published
papers
in the
charge for
papers.
that. Some papers. I know what you mean. I know it's been done before.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to do it, a certain way. Everybody's got their certain ways of doing it. I can still go in. I've got a person that does private backgrounds. He's helped me on some stuff, and I try to avoid it though. I'd rather do it public so to show people that they can do it too. That's one of
Right.
the things. It's kind of like, a lot of people are new to it, and I'm saying it's not hard. You just once you form a template of what to do, a logical sequence, you can do this with all these events, and they fall right into line. The same type of scenario, and the media is involved. CNN, Fox, and that they sit there, like the Pulse. Guy gets shot 4 times with a AR-45 or whatever that is in the back, in the kidneys. And he's on TV the next day sitting there smiling. How y'all doing? They let him go from the hospital. He got shot. He should be dead. I mean, that's where I go to LECOM students, and they back up with, this guy should be dead. The guy in the wheelchair where they're holding his veins, the guy should be dead or on the ground conscious.
Right.
And there's never any police helping out.
So your working theory, though, is basically they use that as a mean to clamp down on live streaming on.
I'm
things
not
on
in
Facebook.
other rights and not, and it's Sandy Hook gun control. Plus, I got a new school out of it. Plus, this Epstein thing is tied into Sandy Hook. They're all child porn. A lot of the people that were involved in Sandy Hook, these fake parents that they brought in, have a tie to Florida and all this child porn. The main guy you see on TV, Lenny Posner, that won this court case against fake Alex Jones, well, he has a teen porn site on his own domain, And you tell the media, the Erie Times, I'm showing them, what is this? And yet they do an article that the public school systems are using the Honor Network. Honor is the Sandy Hook. These parents got together how to, in case you have a shooter come into school, they're all using this Honor Network, and we're trying to show them this thing is fake. Here's all the evidence. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we understand that, we don't expect a reply in most cases. This is the first time I've ever gotten a reply from anybody, a face-to-face, so thank you very much. I mean,
I can't promise you anything.
regardless of your opinion, that was my goal, just to meet with somebody. And I've kind of memorized all this, and I know I'm talking fast. Coffee helps a little bit, but it's there to be looked at, and I realize if you can't do anything. I have a guy I deal with, right, not long after 9/11, he knew something was wrong. He went to a lot of the embassies in D.C. because this is not what happened. And they were inviting him in, yeah, okay. And he did a follow-up, and all the embassies said, we can't talk about this. He's just there, okay, no problem. He realized that, but at least, he's showing people that this stuff can't be talked about. There's a code, so to speak. Your job's on the line, your life's on the line, you never know how deep this goes. It goes pretty darn deep.
Yes, it does.
Oh my God. And it includes the owners of CNN, Fox, your big channels, ABC, NBC. 11 minutes before the second event at the tower, all the networks switched to a central feed. But you wouldn't know that on that day. Well, somebody went in and synced all the channels, the 5 major ones, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN. 3 cameras were used, and some of the shots were the same. And then in one shot, all 5 were the exact same shot, which is impossible to do. You don't have all your cameras there. And when you see the supposed plane hit, I don't know if you've seen it, and it's probably might be in Zeitgeist, where the front of the plane goes through the tower and it comes back into the building. Have you seen that?
I don't think I noticed.
And that's through, they were editing in real time. And you don't see a real plane go in. It just goes in and comes back. And then what they did is, what they showed afterwards, a couple hours afterwards, oh, we've got another angle, and you see this plane go in. It's building number 2, but it's from the back side. You know, from the front, you don't see it really go in. You just see it coming down and a ball explosion. The other one, it comes in and it just melts right in. I mean, right through, like Jello, which is impossible. Those towers were built to prevent that from happening. We've taken the towers, we've deconstructed them, and rebuilt them.
So are you saying that there never was a plane?
We don't. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows. There is no actual footage of a plane going in. We know they're all CGI. Whatever you see, nobody's going to know. I feel it's missiles, because the beams all go left to right, and it's like a missile came in, because it doesn't match a wing going
But
in.
there had to have been a lot of people after the first hit that were down below that saw it and witnessed a second.
Don't you think they would have cell phones? There's no footage other than
No, but
maybe
I'm just even talking about
It's-
eyewitness accounts.
the only eyewitness accounts you see on TV are about 5 or 6 to 10 witnesses. That's it. Anybody else, they weren't interviewed. They weren't interviewed because it was controlled setting in a sense. One guy's sitting there reading off a cue card. We call him one of the worst actors. He's there. I lost a friend on the, he couldn't even read his lines, and he's looking up, where I'm like, oh my God, we estimate that 10 blocks were cordoned off before 9/11. We looked at rush hour video from a camera across the street at rush hour. And you would think thousands were coming out. There's nobody coming out of the World Trade Center a week before 9/11. A guy in my Facebook group worked on the first floor for Citibank, and he left in 2000. He said, there's not many people that come in the building here, There's no 25, 30, 40,000 people. It was just a myth. Mm-hmm. When they had the 93 bombing, which was a sting, really, to clear some of these companies out, there was only 11 companies in the North Tower at the time. Everybody's thinking, there's... What they would do is they'd film a lot of the train station below. It was 8 stories below. Mm-hmm. So all these people were taking the train in, getting